am Rachel A. Cabanban, and today we will discuss the cancer properties. So, cancer properties. In a cancer cell, there are both distinct rapid growth signal and decline in the death signal. When the rapid growth signal and decline in the death signal combine, it becomes the immortal. So, number one properties of cancer is immortality. It is a property of cancer cell because of the normal death pathways in our body that utilizing defining different pathways, it is called programmed cell death. So in the immortality, there is no apoptosis. So what is apoptosis? Programmed cell death which result in the order removal of cell. The next is number 2 is rapid growth and division. When we say rapid growth, it obtains the cell utilizing the signal as a form of hormones or chemical mediator. So inside our body, there are systems which control the growth and division of the cell. So this is the cell cycle. So in a cell cycle, there is always a checkpoint. So there is a checkpoint between G1 to S. S represent the synthesis. So the synthesis to G2, then G2 to anaphase, then anaphase to metaphase. So that checkpoint represent different barriers from one phase to another phase. Then the checkpoint ensure proper cell growth and division. Take note, if the checkpoint failed to control the division, it will lead to rapid growth and division. So we will go now to the role of cell cycle. So in the G1, it laps between hours to days. So what will happen to the cells? So they have to prepare the cell to DNA replication. So when the DNA replication done, it will go now to the S phase or synthesis phase. In the synthesis phase, it lasts between 10 to 20 hours. Then if the duplication of cell done, it will now ready to cell division. Then it will go to the G2 phase or gap phase. So in the G2 phase, it leads between 2 to 10 hours. Then the cell will stay in G2 phase. In the G2, the cell will stop. So the cells start producing and it won't stop producing those cell growth receptors. So there are different properties of cancer. Number 1 is immortality. No programmed cell death, or also known as no apoptosis. The number 2 is rapid growth and division. It is obtained by this cell utilizing the signals. So the signals as a form of hormones. Also, there is a duplication in rapid growth and division. The third cancer property is called no contact inhibition. So imagine this is a cell. The cell, it is placed one another after another. Then when the cells are becoming crowded after time, this contact between one cell will inhibit the cell of division. So because of cancerous cell won't get those signals, they will grow and grow. So fourth is proliferation. Cancer cell will not only can grow in one place, it can proliferate from one region to another region. That will cause much dangerous. So why? Because some cancer cells grow in a particular place, it will be moved one place to another. So this is the continuation of number 4, which is the proliferation. It is also called metastasis. So when we say metastasis, the distant spread of malignant tumor from its site of origin. There are 3 main routes of metastasis. So number 1 is through the bloodstream. Then next is through the lymphatic system. Then third is across the body cavities. Also, when we say metastasis, it is invasive in nature. that can produce tumor from one place to another place. So as the cell starts to grow, the blood vessel will cover up them. So why? Because this is a normal procedure of our body. If they are somewhere inside our body, there is no blood vessel, those regions of cell will die. So the blood vessel will start to form and it will start to provide the required nutrients and oxygen to the cells. So we will define the angiogenesis. It is the formation of new blood vessel. This process is essential for the development of a tumor and it promoted by growth factors. So the fifth cell property is low nutrients and oxygen requirement. By regulating their metabolism very tightly, and then they are angiogenetic in nature. So angiogenetic means formation of those blood vessels onto the layering of cancer cells. Then again, it produces new cells are coming up. Then, the blood vessels are supplying food and oxygen. So these are the cell properties. There are many properties, but these are the major parts of cell properties. Then first is the immortality or no apoptosis. The next is the rapid growth and division. Then third is no contact inhibition. Then fourth is proliferation. Then lastly is low nutrient and oxygen requirements. So there are different types of tumor. So number one is benign, a tumor that does not invade and destroy the tissue in which it originates or spread to distant sites in the body. Then second is malignant, a tumor that invades and destroys the tissue in which it originates and can spread to one another site in the body via bloodstream and lymphatic system. So benign and malignant, they are both tumor. So they are lacking the factor to regulate their growth so that they can become humorous. So when we say benign, they cannot proliferate, non-invasive, and no metastasis. So while we say malignant, they are invasive, they are progressively. So they are progressively spreading easily in our body. So there are three types of cancer. So first is the carcinoma. It is the major part of the cancer, above 80% type of cancer. It is a cancer in epithelial tissues. For example, the skin, liver, colon, and prostate. Second type of cancer is sarcoma. This tumor may occur in any part of the body, since they arise in the tissue that make up an organ rather than being restricted to a particular organ. They can arise in previous tissues, muscle, fat, bones, cartilage, and various other tissues. So the last type of cancer are lymphoma and leukemia. So when we say lymphoma and leukemia, they are both directly linked in our immune system. So when we say lymphoma, these are the cancer in lymph nodes organ. For example, lymph nodes like spleen. So when we say leukemia, cancer won't find. There are single cell that proliferating in our body. So it is also called liquid cancer and high WBC.